Okay, so the next thing to know about is Taxii, which goes along with Stix. And the point of Taxii is that it will let you connect to a server and download this threat intelligence. So you can do the requests on Linux with curl. You can look for Taxii content type and get and this is a discovery request. There are really only a few things that Taxii can do for you. So here's a discovery response, which is a big blob of XML that's hard to read. So it's a whole lot easier if you run it through burp. And then you can make these requests inside burp. So you catch it and view the Taxii response in burp. And now it's a little bit easier to read. You see a discovery request, which just tells you the name of the server. This is a free public server run by MITRE.org, the same people that made the attack framework. And so I'm sending it a message, and the response in burp, it formats it nicely. So you don't have to read that XML. And now you can see the request, the discovery request shows me what services are offered. One is discovery, the one I'm using right now, which will just tell me what's available. Then collection management and poll are the remaining things. Burp is just a normal web proxy. It's a tool. It's not particularly designed for this process, but it'll do. Yeah, burp makes it easier to read this. There are quite a few XML viewers you could use, but burp is a common one. I think I know burp for doing web application pen testing. So my students already know it. It's probably why I used it. So now you can make a copy of the request. It also makes it easy to make the varied request. So now you can change the request to collection information request here. Otherwise, you'd have to, the other tool you could use for this is Postman, if you prefer it, very similar to burp. But anyway, now you can send a list of collections, and now you see what it has. It has guest, abuse.ch, cybercrime tracker, and so on. It has about 10 feeds. And the one that's most useful on this server is fishtank.com. This is the feed we will pull. So now you know the name of the description of the collection that it offers. Now you can build the pull request. And this is what a pull request looks like. Might look better in burp. You give it the URL to the server that's handing out the data, the collection name, and then you have to have a beginning time and an ending time timestamp and see what you want. I want full information. And I've just chosen a time range from 2018 that had interesting things in it. I just tried a bunch until I found some fun things to look at. So I went from 0 to 10 o'clock on the same day in 2018. And when you're done, you will find some information and something about an Alibaba FUD new page. And that's a flag to show that you've done all this. So that's an example of how you do these things, requesting individual feeds. So that's one way to do it, to use Taxii. And another way to do it is where you set up a Linux server to do it for you automatically with Cabby and Squid. So Cabby is a Python-based tool specifically designed to do this Taxii stuff for you. So after you install libtaxi and Cabby, now you can just use commands like Taxii discovery. So here's Taxii discovery. You just tell it the name of the server, and here it is telling you what it'll do. This server has discovery, collection management, and poll, just like the other one. Now I can use Taxii collections to find the available collections. And you see it's got the cybercrime tracker and abuse.ch, the same ones we saw before. Now you can filter with command line commands like grep to see just the names, which is nice. Now you see it's got fishtank_com. Now we can pull fishtank, and we can just put the beginning and end timestamps right here with this Taxii pull command. So it's more friendly than trying to do it with curl. And you'll get 136 blocks of data. So you can use your standard Linux techniques, redirect that data to a text file, and then you can view the text file with head to see the start of it. And it's this ugly XML stuff again. And you can filter it. You can use less to scroll through it and understand the structure of it. And you see here, there's something called indicator. That is what we want. So we're going to get just the indicator information out of there by grepping indicator and counting them. We'll see there's 4,600 lines but only 62 of them contain indicator. This counts all the lines in the file. This counts the lines that contain indicator. there's only 62 of them. So I can grep indicator, run it through sort, run it through unique, and it will show me only the unique entries with a count. And now I'll see there's 62 indicators and they're all the same URL watch list. So that's why it's nice to filter it, because the fish tank, of course, includes only that kind of data. So now that you've done that, you can take another look and see if here's something that's useful. This URL, that's what I actually want. This URL is the malicious URL, and I probably don't really care about any of the rest of this data. So I can just grep for indicator : description to get this line. And then I get them, and then I can use cut to cut it at, and cut is one of the commands you use to cut horizontally. So by using standard Linux tricks, you can cut it and cut it again. And now you get just the URLs from the threat intelligence feed, and you can automate all of this. So the point is, this will now put them in a file. Now you'll have a file called badurls.txt that includes just a list of all the bad URLs. And there's a few challenges here to show that you're doing it. And once you've done that, of course, now you can put it in an automatic content blocker. Now you have a list of malicious URLs. What you're doing is building your own endpoint protection system here, essentially. So you put in squid, which is a proxy, and you can configure squid to block everything in your, you can add rules here. And so the rules you add are deny access to those bad sites. And there's a file called allowed IPs of client machines you allow to use the proxy. So you can get that stuff going and make a test site with example.net being blocked just to see if you got it working. And then you run a browser through the squid. And when you go to example.net, you'll see it. There's an example domain on the web using example.net. And when you run it through the proxy, then you will get, no, you're not allowed to do it. Your proxy has denied it. So you can automate the threat intelligence to go into the proxy and then block the known bad sites. And so you can do a couple flags just to prove that you've done that. But you do have to set up a Linux machine to do it if you're going to do it this way. So that's the three things that work together. Stix, Taxii. Stix and Taxii are the main thing. Cabby and Squid are just tools to help use it. Cabby is the Python library to perform the Taxii requests, and Squid is a proxy to implement the blocking from them. And there are many tools you can use for that. All right, stop this one.